welcome to the Louisville Zoo. Meet baby Lulu, our new baby camel at the Louisville Zoo. Welcome to Wildside. Today we're talking camels and camel rides that are new to the zoo. We're also going to go to Gorilla Forest and meet our newest member, our baby gorilla. And finally, we'll be hanging out at the islands. To meet baby Babirusa Babs. Stay tuned. Hi, we're here in the Islands Day Room with Jane Ann Franklin, the mammal curator and supervisor of animal training, who's been here for 26 years. She's been all over campus, head of all the mammals here. And we're sitting in the day room with Patrice and Babs, right?
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about Babirusa.
Babirusa are probably the most ancient form of pig on the planet. They come from the Indonesian archipelago on the southern part of Indonesia. They come from the islands of Sulawesi and Buru, and we exhibit Babirusa here at the Louisville Zoo.
So that fits into the islands because all of the islands mammals are from an island, correct?
Yes, they are. The orangutans come from Borneo and Sumatra. The Sumatran tigers come from Sumatra. The tapirs come from Borneo and Sumatra. They formerly were up in the mainland in Malaysia, which is now called Myanmar.
Okay, so how old is Babs?
Babs is about 6 months old. She was born in September.
Okay, so how do you raise a baby pig?
Well, we let mom raise her. We make sure we're the support team for mom and make sure she has everything that she needs. And Patrice is a first-time mom. So we were extremely cautious with introducing new things and making sure everything stayed consistent for her during her birth and during the time that they bonded in the first couple of weeks. And now they're going out on exhibit on a fairly regular basis.
Excellent. So we just did a package about the gorilla baby. So how, they're very involved with the gorilla baby. We're hand raising this particular baby, but in general, a gorilla would be very hands-on with the baby. How hands-on or interactive is Patrice with Babs?
Oh, she's quite interactive. I mean, she's teaching her everything she needs to know, and she's teaching us what we are allowed to teach her. We do work in with these Babirusa, and so we go in with them every day, and so we can scratch them and make sure we can check them out all over. And she tells us when we're allowed to touch the baby and when we're not allowed to touch the baby. And now she's to the point where she doesn't really care. She's like, you have apples and peanuts, you're good to go. You can buy your right to be able to touch my kid with some peanuts.
So you just mentioned apples and peanuts. What else is in their diet?
They get some carrots, they get herbivore chow, and they get alfalfa hay and timothy hay, and then they get special things. They'll get some peanut butter, maybe some applesauce, raisins. Sometimes they like to eat mealworms as well.
So you mentioned that you go in with the Babirusa, and that's a pretty rare thing. We don't often go in with our mammals.
Right.
Is it just that why do you go in with a Babirusa?
Our Babirusa allow us to go in with them. They are have a very calm demeanor. Their temperament is very nice. And from the time Patrice got here, that's what made her really flourish, was the contact she had with us. And we worked with her regularly and every day, and we assess her behavior. And so we've continued that. That allows us to be able to trim their feet, check them out, draw blood, things like that. So Babs doesn't know any different. She doesn't know that things could be different. And so she looks forward to that contact. We've become part of their little sounder, which is a group of pigs.
So who's daddy, and is daddy involved in the raising?
Dad is Albus, and no, he's not involved in the raising. Males typically hang out on the edges of the family group, which are several females and their offspring, and the males come in to breed, and then they go back out on the fringes of the group. So no, he's not, but he's an integral part of our islands family.
So we will never see the family in the same exhibit at the same time?
No.
Okay. So you mentioned that Babs and Patrice are on exhibit more and more these days, and they're temperature driven, but they'll be outside in certain times of year? Is that
yes. Typically if it's above 50, and especially if the sun's out, we'll have them out. They will be in the rotation with all the other animals. Now that it's starting to warm up, we are getting them out more frequently, and they're learning the exhibits. So they're out for a period of time. In the day room right now, they can be out for 45 minutes to about an hour, and we'll increase that. And I believe they've been in all three of the outdoor habitats now.
So what's your favorite animal? You've been doing this 26 years now. What's your favorite animal to work with? I know it's probably like asking you what your favorite kid is, but What's your favorite animal to work with?
You know, and I'm going to say this, and people think I'm crazy, it's all of them. They all have a special place. They all have unique features. They all teach me something. You know, I've worked with Kunnick, I've worked with Bart the sea lion, I've worked with the elephants, I've worked with the orangs, and I just like coming to work and seeing what's going to be next and what challenge do I have in front of me today, and they're all very special. So I'm not picking one. I love them all.
Good answer. Also, so your second title is Supervisor of Animal Training. What does that encompass?
That encompasses most of the behavioral management plans that we put together for the animals in our collection, where when we get an animal, it's going to come in, say, from another zoo, we get all the information we can about that animal, in particular the mammals, and we contact the folks that have been taking care of that animal. We look at what that animal needs and what do we expect from that animal, and we start working towards those goals. Now that may mean a 5 to 10 minute training session twice, 3 times a day, but it also means 24-hour periods of time so that we make sure that we're giving them everything that they need when they're here.
Mm-hmm. So finally, you've been here 26 years, you've done a lot on our campus with various animal groups and had a lot of experiences. What's the best, most, I guess, purposeful part of your job or the most amazing part of your job?
The most amazing part of my job is being able to let people that don't get this opportunity into my world. When I give tours, when I talk to the public, and I give them that personal relationship that I have with those animals, and they start to see the animals in a different light, and they understand that the staff here at the zoo is very dedicated and we're driven to give these animals the very best all the time. And once that light goes on, there's a different relationship. And I have friends now that I've seen over the years that are walkers or regular members that I see that I know who they are, and they ask me questions about what's going on and how is Patrice, how's Babs, you know, and that's the best part.
Excellent. Anything you want to leave us about Babs?
She's awfully cute and she's very personable. So come out and visit, take a look.
Like she said, come out and visit the islands. Babs and Patrice will be on rotation with all the other animals at the islands.
This is what we call our zoo poopy doo. It's a composted product. All the manure products from mostly our hoof stock animals. Biggest contributors of that would be our elephants. We determine there's probably around 500 pounds of product that they produce each week. How this process all takes place is that the animal waste product in the yard, what they do, they'll go in there and clean it up out of the yards. They put it in the garbage cans and set it outside their area, and from there, our commissary area of the zoo, which is responsible for picking up the manure, put it in their truck. At the end of the day, they take it out to the landfill. From there, they will turn it and continually turn it every once in a while until it finally breaks down from decomposition, and you get a product like this. Composting as an organic matter in your soil helps break down some of the harder clay material in your soil, and also acts as a fertilizer product. And if you're trying to get away from using the synthetic fertilizers, this is an excellent product for that. What we have here is a total recyclable product. We take it from the zoo, we take it out to landfill, it's processed, we bring it back to the zoo to sell, and we use it here on grounds as well. And that material does not go into the landfill. Not only are people use it for their vegetable gardens, but people also use it for their plant beds, their flower beds. You can use it to top dress your plant beds or work it in with the ground as well, which makes it very beneficial.
Hi, we're here at the research station at Gorilla Forest with Jill Katka, who's been at the zoo for 13 years. She's been in different departments, birds and the islands, and now she is the assistant mammal curator at Gorilla Forest. And it's been a tough couple of weeks and an exciting couple of weeks. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happened?
Well, we lost our female gorilla, Mia, in an emergency C-section due to some complications, but we were able to save the baby, who is now 2 weeks old. Little girl, and she is eating well and gaining weight and seems to be doing really well. So We're not necessarily out of the woods yet, but we're hopeful that she's going to be okay.
So we have this little baby. We've unfortunately lost Mia Moja during the C-section, as you said, or due to complications afterward. But we have this adorable little baby, and she was almost full term, and you guys are having to sort of do a 24-hour care for her over the last few weeks and for a couple of months to come. What does that look like day to day for you guys as far as overnights, and what do those moments look like?
Well, Gorilla Mom would never put the baby down, so we never put the baby down. We have her, somebody is with her 24 hours a day, and we're always holding her, and we're trying to prepare her to be a gorilla, because the eventual goal is to successfully introduce her as soon as we can to an existing family group where she can be a gorilla for the rest of her life. So a gorilla infant is born being able to hold on at birth. So she's got that really good grip. So a mom might support them with one arm, and definitely in the first few weeks of life, but that baby's gonna have to hold on. She's going to have to develop all the skills that she needs. Around 5 months of age, she'll be able to be introduced to a gorilla group. And she needs to have everything that she can have before then. At that time, she's going to need to be able to crawl to the mesh to receive a bottle. One of the problems with introducing her to a gorilla group is that we don't have a lactating mother right now available, so we have to bottle feed her. So she gets bottle fed every 2 hours. Right now, she's on about 25 milliliters every 2 hours around the clock. By that time, we'll have eliminated some of the nighttime feedings, and she'll be able to crawl to the mesh to get her nutrition. But that mom is going to have to develop all of her social skills, carry her around, teach her all the things that she needs to know, and she'll be part of that family group.
So you mentioned the baby has to cling on. So you guys walk around overnights and on your monitoring and when you're caring for the baby with this little vest. So what does this vest mimic for the baby?
So this vest is just like the gorilla hair. The baby's going to need something to cling on to. So we have a couple of different vests. This one I think is the most gorilla-like that we have. And so the little baby's going to have a grasp of that hair. And when she gets a little bit older, right now she gets a lot of support from us. When she gets a little bit older, we're going to be throwing her on our back. We're going to be putting her on our back so that she can cling onto our back, and we're going to be crawling around with knee pads on because she's going to have to learn back riding, which is something that's essential for little baby gorillas to know. And when she is introduced to a surrogate, she's going to have to know how to ride on somebody's back. So we're going to have to teach her everything that she needs to know to be a gorilla. Her mom would be teaching her those things, and we have a group of people, a group of staff right now that are her surrogate moms until she gets to be back with gorillas.
So this is the first time that you've ever raised a baby gorilla, and that's not ever something you really want to have to do, but it is necessary sometimes. But you have this big, large manual. Would you like to talk about the birth management plan?
This is the first time that we've raised a gorilla from birth. We did care for an infant gorilla here before Misha in 2010, who was a little bit older than this. But one thing that we do is we plan gorilla births right from the start. So in the planning stages, while we're planning the pregnancy, we have a birth management surrogate hand rearing packet. So we have all kinds of information in here about what other institutions have done to plan the birth. So it includes things like training the female for ultrasound and training them to be desensitized to a baby bottle just in case we need to hand feed the infant if something like this should happen. There are videos and instructions. It's kind of a what to expect when you're expecting type of packet. So there's a good support group out there from the zoos around the country that have gorillas that have gone through something like this before. So we felt pretty well prepared. You're never completely prepared, but we felt like we knew what to do.
I think everybody probably wants to know a little bit about what's it like to be in the room with this little baby gorilla. I mean, it's probably very special. Only a handful of people in the country get to do that.
It is very special. She's extremely sweet. She's very quiet. She sleeps a lot right now and eats a lot, but she's, even at 2 weeks old, she's starting to become more aware of her surroundings. She's starting to look at us more. Feeding her every 2 hours around the clock. So when at nighttime we settle down, we turn the lights down, and she sleeps on us. In the daytime, she's a little bit more active. And as she grows older, she's going to start, crawling and playing. We're going to need to have things for her to climb on. We're going to have to help her develop her motor skills. And we're going to watch her personality develop.
Excellent. So she started out on observation and monitoring and caring and taking care of her at the hospital, and now she's at Gorilla Forest. And so you've moved her after 2 weeks to Gorilla Forest. And why would you do that?
Well, she had to stay at the hospital for a little while because she needed to be stabilized. We had to make sure as a preemie infant that she was well enough to leave that the consistent care that we got at our animal hospital. And now that she is eating well and gaining weight, she's up back past her birth weight, and she seems to be doing really well. We need to get her exposed to other gorillas around her as soon as possible. So there's a few things that we do. We introduced her to the gorillas yesterday. We didn't put her in with them, but we introduced them through the mesh so that they got a first chance to see her. We make gorilla vocalizations at her. She needs to get to know the sights and the sounds and the smells of gorillas so that she can essentially become the gorilla that she needs to be.
So I think everybody's main question is going to be when they can see the baby, and that's going to be a process. So what is that process like?
Well, we have some plans for that. Right now, our entire focus is what's going to be the best thing for this baby. So we do have some plans for the public to be able to see her, but right now at 2 weeks old, we don't think that she's quite there yet. But as we get her, as she starts to develop and as she gets farther along, we will have the public be able to see her in some way.
So I always like to ask our keepers what they enjoy, what's the most amazing part about their job at the zoo, and I would imagine Jill's going to tell me this baby gorilla is certainly a highlight. But
this baby gorilla is the most amazing thing. She is, she's sweet and adorable, and we just love her.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much. We have a baby blog on our website, louisvillezoo.org/baby, if you want regular updates with video about the baby gorilla.
Is this your first time here?
No, because we went here for Halloween. We've seen
Tigers?
Yeah, we saw snowy owls.
You saw cougars?
Yeah, we saw cougars.
Eagles, yeah, bald eagles.
Saw lots of snakes?
But lots of snakes and reptiles. And birds. The bald eagles only had one wing because the other wing got torn off, so they can't fly. I liked all the animals because all of them are different.
I really like the snakes.
One time when I was really little, I
We
touched them,
haven't.
but it wasn't poisonous. They were really pretty, and when you're out in the wild and you see snakes, you don't really want to get near them, and so when they're in cages, you can see them better, and you don't have to be afraid of them.
Come on.
The human jungle gym.
Let's go see the gorillas.
Wonderful, yay.
Hi, we're back here at the camel rides with Catherine Malloy of Secret Safari on our new camel ride. So, camels are known as the ships of the desert in the desert, where they transport supplies and people. So it's not uncommon for folks to ride camels, but it's a little different sensation. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so camels are pacers. They walk with both left and then both right feet, so it's very swaying motion when you're up there.
So it's a little unlike a horse, which would go up and down. It's
Yeah.
a left to right sensation while you're going. So.
Right. It's some people think it's bouncier because it's so left to right, but it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. So who can ride a camel? Anybody can ride a camel?
Pretty much everybody can ride a camel. We never take 2 adults together, but we can take up to 3 kids, and then our favorite is to take in a parent and a kid. That's always really
What
good.
if you have a little baby? Can a little baby ride?
Yeah, baby can ride. We always put them right with their mom or dad.
Another inevitable question that people will have, is it a 1-hump or 2-hump camel?
So all of our camels are dromedary camels. Dromedary camels have 1 hump, and it's easy to remember because a D has 1 hump. A Bactrian camel's the other kind, and they have 2 humps.
Which makes a B. There's a clever way. So D is dromedary, B is Bactrian, which is the 1-hump or 2-hump. So that's a good visual to help remember that. So Petey and Amos were here before, obviously, and they have ridden, they have done camel rides before they came to the zoo, and they were big popular animals here at the zoo. And then they left to go on kind of a little boot camp to refamiliarize them this winter. So tell me what it was like there.
So the camels came to stay at the farm for the winter, and it was a great way to kind of reintroduce them to doing rides because they did know how to do it from before, but they haven't done it in so long. And having them at the farm really gave us the opportunity to work with them every day instead of here where we'd have been outside. So,
are they different in the way they ride people, or is it just it's?
Yeah, they are. Petey, believe it or not, even though he's bigger than Amos is, he's so much taller that he's a little not quite as balanced. So we, believe it or not, take smaller loads on Petey than we do on Amos.
Excellent. So the ride itself is just once around the
Yep,
exhibit
so you go
here?
around once,
and it gives you the best view of all the camels, Olivia and Lulu.
You know, I was noticing, I was on a camel the other day, and it does give you a sort of a higher safari-like type visit, because you can see the elephants clearly, and
you can see the
bongos and the giraffe. You're almost on the same height as them, so that's excellent. So come on out, ride Petey, Amos, or Max, our camels. We also have a little baby Lulu who's on exhibit. So tell us about baby Lulu. She's here.
Yep, Lulu is almost 3 months old. She was born at a farm in northern Indiana, and we have her. She's really active. She's really hyper, and believe it or not, Petey just loves her. Petey adores the baby, which is great. So she's definitely acclimating to the herd.
And it is important to say that Lulu is not available for rides. She's only on exhibit, so you can come out and see the baby, but you can't ride the baby.
So Ben, I'm going to start with you, okay? So how you liking camp?
I really like the zoo walk. We do a zoo walk to see if the main wolf is out. We don't really see it, but if he is out, we see him. But if he's not out, we just walk on and see the rhinos and knock on new animals.
And it's your favorite part?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you liking camp?
Good.
Good, good. Is there a part that you like a lot?
My favorite part always is when we go splash park.
Splash? You like that splash park? Well, what do you like about it, Emma?
Because I can get my hair wet and don't have to wash my hair at night.
That's great. That sounds like a good reason for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, washing your hair. If you don't have to wash your hair, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, how about the animals? Are there any animals that you like?
Well, there's one animal that I really like, giraffes.
Giraffes. Why do you like giraffes?
Because they don't have to use silverware. They just have to use their mouth.
Their mouth. They don't need a knife or fork, right?
Yeah, and or they don't need a spoon.
They don't need a spoon, because that. Have you ever seen those tongues on giraffes? How big is a giraffe's tongue?
I don't know.
How
like
big?
This big.
This big? This big. All right. Seth thinks it's this big.
I think it's this big.
All right. Emma Marie thinks it's this big. How big do you think it is, Maya? This big? This, but you show us how big you think it is. It's pretty close.
Is it this big?
That's right. That is about right, Seth. It's about 16 inches long. Seth, what's your favorite part of camp?
It's a cute animal. You gotta guess it.
I have to guess what the animal is?
It's one of the cute animals.
Is it a snake?
No.
No. Snakes? Are snakes cute?
A little bit.
A little bit?
But not that. It's
Not that.
cuter than that.
Cuter than that. Is it a meerkat?
Yeah!
It's a meerkat. I got that the second try. Guess how many years I've been at the zoo, working at the zoo? How many years? Want to take a guess?
It's too hard.
It's too hard? Too high? I've been working at the zoo for 30 years. Whoa.
Are you 30 years old?
I'm about twice that. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Oh, so goodbye. Have fun at camp. Thank you, Ben.
So we've had fun with baby Lulu today. Hopefully you've had fun learning about our baby gorilla, our baby babirusa, and our camel rides. Thanks for watching. Are you eating my hair? I love you. You're so stinking cute.